Hello and welcome everyone to another day here at Live at the Waterhole. It is wonderful to be back with you all, and a very warm welcome to those of you who are joining us perhaps for the first time today. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the first half of the show. We are starting off here in a very pretty looking Jamala with some Ellies that have come down to cool off. They are making me a little bit jealous today. It looks like a place I would also want to jump into in the water. There's a few young bulls here having a bit of a tussle. And we've got some mummies and babies there on the right also having a drink. The Waterhole is the place to be today. It is looking quite warm here in Jamala. We've had quite a hot day yesterday all around across our locations, and today is looking like another beautiful day here. A reminder to everyone that this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through your comments and your questions. It's always great to hear from all of our viewers who you are, where you're from, what you're enjoying about the show, and if there's anything that you'd like to know, perhaps I can answer your questions, or even if it's just to tell me that you're enjoying the show. It's always good to hear from our viewers. All right, well, I did mention just now that it is looking like a beautiful day here in Jamala, but why don't we have a look at the weather across our locations. Well, once again, looking like very warm temperatures all over, especially in Okokuyo and Namibia, high there of, I think it was 36 degrees Celsius. So I'm sure we may head over there a little bit later, but it is a very warm day nonetheless. No wonder these elephants are here cooling off. And I think throughout today we might have a trickle of elephants coming down to Jamala. They always tend to provide us with endless entertainment. Hopefully we get some of these little ones splashing around. That's always my favorite to watch. These three young bulls, I'm not sure how serious this sort of fighting is. I think there's a lot of playing going on, but there's also almost a little bit of seriousness within it, trying to establish who's the strongest between them. Danny, good morning. Good morning to you. You say that I'm keeping you company down in Cape Town. Well, I'm so glad that you're able to join us, Danny, and I do hope that you enjoy the show all the way from Cape Town. One of the great things about these shows that we have on WildEarth, including the Live at the Waterhole show, is that we get to have viewers from across South Africa and the world. been giving a second to take in the action here with these three young bulls. But I do apologize if you hear any sort of construction noises in the background. There is a bit of building work going on at the lodge, which is located here at Jamala. So we do apologize for that. Claire, hello, welcome. You say this is Madikwe's Ellie Spa. It does look like that, doesn't it? Perfect place to come and get your dose of nutrients, should I say, for your skin. Nice and some good exfoliation, I think, going on here as well. It's so interesting to watch this dynamic happening here between not only two, but actually three relatively evenly sized individuals. I think it's a combination of excitement with being able to come down to the water, some serious dominance displaying, trying to see between them who's the strongest, but we've got a third one who's also joining in. So it's very interesting to see these three interacting here with one another. One of the I wouldn't say my favorite sounds, but always something that captures my attention when we hear these bulls tussling or fighting with one another is when their tusks hit against each other. And sometimes that is when we actually get injuries or tusks breaking off. But the sounds are fantastic at the moment. This is a real treat, everyone. Shiv, hello, welcome. You say it's raining here in the UK and you are keeping warm by watching beautiful Africa on your TV. Well, that is so wonderful to hear, Shiv. I really hope that the heat radiates through your TV the way it's radiating through our locations at the moment.
Our UK family is important to us. WildEarth is making your viewing experience more convenient with a time shift that will see a delayed start. Our sunrise safari will now be broadcast at UK sunrise times. Don't miss a moment of your favorite shows. To watch it live, go to the WildEarth app or website.
Incredible.
WildEarth, connecting you to nature.
Well, we have some very noisy elephants here today, everyone. They have been trumpeting flat out, and not this isn't a girls' spa day, it looks like today. This is very much a boys' spa day. And we have a group of Eddie Bulls here that are having a wonderful time. Lots and lots of fun going on. Slipping, sliding, digging, swimming, splashing, all of it happening. Hopefully, they continue to make the trumpeting noises we've been hearing. Well, here at WildEarth, we want to make 2024 the best in WildEarth history, and we need your help to do so. Between the 28th of December and the 4th of January, which is 2 days' time, we are running a donation drive to raise 15,000 US dollars to help us repair, replace, and increase our technical capabilities. This will go a very, very long way to help us continue with our mission of connecting people with nature. While we have reached our initial target of $15,000, while we have reached our initial target, we'd love to keep the donations open. Every contribution helps us to helps keep us going, for which we are immensely grateful. So thank you so much to each and every one of you who have donated already. We have reached our initial target, which is wonderful. But if any of you would still like to donate, and you can still contribute until the 4th of January. Patisse, hello. Good to hear from you. You want to know if their trunks go up in order to trumpet? No, not necessarily. They can definitely expel the air straight out. I've seen they sort of might bend them a little bit forward at the bottom. Sometimes they do lift them up. and trumpet, but it's actually, I would think, a lot easier for them to keep the air to go straight out rather than having to curve with the trunk, for example. But they don't have to keep them up in order to trumpet. They can just expel that air straight through the nose, even if it's in whichever direction that it would be pointing in. I haven't heard such a noisy group of ellies in a very long time. These two bulls are still tussling about here. They're very evenly matched, so I can see why they not really coming to a conclusion on who's bigger and stronger between them. Another two now on the left also interacting, and this is the life of an elephant bull once they leave the herds. It's up to them to figure out, how they are going to live as a lone bull, and often forming these bachelor herds for company. Elephants are, after all, social creatures. And at this age, this sort of size, these two ellies here that we're looking at the moment on the left, their fights aren't going to be extremely serious. But once they get, 30 years plus, 40 years plus, then we're going to see some serious, almost possibly fatal fights that can happen between elephant bulls. Although rare, it has been recorded to occur. And speaking of more elephants, there is a whole herd coming now as well. So it's always, it's so exciting to see elephants approach a waterhole. They are always so excited to get to the water, especially the little ones.
For those in the wet and cold this festive season, transport yourself to a warm and sunny Africa. With virtual safaris in real time. Interact with African naturalists, connect with fellow nature lovers across the globe, fall in love with nature, and join the WildEarth family this festive season. WildEarth, connecting you to nature.
think that was what we call a puddle of elephants there. Shane, hello. Thank you for sending through your question. You want to know, why don't oxpeckers follow elephants? That is actually a very interesting point to raise, Shane, and it's something that I remember not really thinking about why we don't see oxpeckers on elephants. It would seem natural because they also are a pachyderm. They also have ticks and parasites that live on their skin. So why not have oxpeckers following or sitting on elephants when they sit on buffaloes, they sit on rhinos, even on hippos when they are out the water or part of them is sticking out of the water. So why not elephants? And Shane, it's actually quite simple in a way, and the elephants just don't tolerate them. So they don't allow the birds to sit on them. Yes, there may be recorded cases of an oxpecker on one elephant in history sitting on the back of an elephant, but that was possibly briefly before it was flicked or hit away by the elephant. It just irritates them too much, and they don't enjoy them. So the oxpeckers aren't allowed to be on them long enough. So over many years, the oxpeckers have learned that there's no point trying to sit on an elephant. So they focus their energy on sitting on giraffes and impala and zebras and rhinos and buffaloes instead. Shane. So that's why they don't follow them, because they can't actually get any food from them. So then why follow them if they can't end up sitting on them? Corey, hello. You say, what a cool pool party. It is a pretty great one. I think if I could, I would love to join. There's a little one that is just having the best time there, lying down in the water. I always feel sorry for the little elephants during these times when I can relate from when I was young and at a birthday party or a pool party with my cousins or whatever, and mom says it's time to go, and you're like, no, we're just having so much fun. And I often feel like some of these small elephants are having the best time. And then mom says, no, time to go. That one just collapsed there now. And they have to listen. Hi, Larry. You want to know if they communicate with their trunks as well? Um, yes, definitely. Their trunk is, of course, used to make that trumpeting noise, so that's one sort of form of communication, but they're also very touching animals. And their trunk is what they use often when it comes to touch and that sort of tactile communication, whether it is to rest their trunk on the other one's back. Sometimes they will actually use their trunks to smell in each other's mouths. Sometimes they almost just like touch the side of each other's face. So their trunk is also very important in communication. And then, of course, part of their trunks is smell. You know, being able to breathe in air, and they also have the ability, the sense of smell, a very good sense of smell. So that is also part of communication, not only um, sort of to smell what's around them, but also to communicate with each other. For example, a male smelling um, through their trunk if a female's in estrus, for example, or sort of if a lion is or a predator's in the area, they can also often sniff and smell through their trunks. Honey Badger, you want to know if there's been more rain in the Jamala area over the last few days? Um, Honey Badger, I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that there has been rain. I can see the difference from being away over the last 2 weeks and coming back now yesterday. I can clearly see the difference in the water level here at Jamala. Yesterday, as well, there was quite a few thunderclouds in the sky. I don't know if that actually developed into anything later on in the evening. It doesn't look like the soil is very, very wet or that there's pools of water around. So perhaps not yesterday, but maybe the day before. And definitely we can see the change in the greenery of the grass and the trees in terms of a rainfall that has occurred. I do know that it has been raining in the Lowveld area. Now, Madikwe is much further towards the west of the country, but often these systems move through past one area to the next. So, especially now heading into peak sort of thunderstorm season within the northern, eastern, and western sides of the country, we get now in summer these very, very warm days with the clouds. You can even see the cumulus clouds in the sky, and those all start and then build up to the big thunderstorm clouds. And usually that then comes through in the late afternoon, evening, when the storms will come through after a day of heat. So I think there's definitely more rain to come, honey badger. So we are looking forward to that as well. Rain is so important now, January, February being peak rainy season in these parts of the country. All right, well, the Ellies have moved off here, but we are going to keep our eyes on Jamala because there may always be some more coming down a bit later. But why don't we head over to Namibia and check in at Okukuyo? And what a beautiful scene it is here in Namibia. This blue sky with these wispy clouds. Nice and hot here today. There are some animals there in the distance. I wonder if those might maybe some zebra, which may slowly make their way towards the water. But otherwise, we have a few springbok here, as well as the Egyptian geese, which Egyptian geese family, should I say, which we've seen these chicks growing. I'm not sure if they're in the water at the moment. I think it is them. They've grown so quickly. Yesterday, we were treated with starting off the day here and a black rhino coming down for a drink and a swim. It was absolutely incredible. So fingers crossed we'll get a little surprise like that today. But I didn't see any elephants, so maybe that will be our something special here today. But otherwise, just to enjoy the sounds. I can hear some European bee eaters were calling when we first arrived. There's a blacksmith lapwing as well. Very calm and serene here, always at Okukuyo. How lovely to see these few springbuck here. Enjoying some grazing. I think there are some small shoots coming out here, and they may also be getting some nutrients from the soil, perhaps, but there may also be small green. I see some greenery between the rocks as well. Can hear some crows calling in the background. There's the Egyptian geese family just on the left-hand side there. I think the chicks are in the water.
We all know the struggle of finding the perfect gift. But what if you could give them an unforgettable experience? Something truly extraordinary. Introducing Nature Eye. Fly a real drone remotely at iconic locations, witnessing the beauty of nature like never before. Sign up to be an explorer and you could win one of these experiences yourself. Visit natureeye.com today. It's so nice to see these zebras eventually make it down to the waterhole. I was hoping that they were on their way and not leaving.
Mark, you want to know if Okukuyo ever gets greener than what it is now? Yes, it can. I believe that Okukuyo is still waiting for its very um, sort of first big rains to come. And once the rains do hit, then I have seen photographs of the area being greener than what you see now. There's a brief time in the rainy sort of summer season, any time now from November up until April. There can be rains that come, and then that will bring the grass to grow. So it's for a short time, and perhaps in the next month or two, we're actually going to see the change happen before our very eyes, just like we saw at Madikwe occur there from a very, in a way, similar looking, not so much of this sort of white stone, but very much brown and grey coloration, turning into this lush landscape with the trees green and the grass growing. I do apologize if you can hear any talking in the background, everybody, but as Okakuyo is located with a lodge just behind this waterhole, sometimes we do pick up some of the guests speaking from the microphone from the camera, so I do apologize for that. Diane, you are from the UK and you are saying the springback legs look as though they might break if they run over those rocks. It is something that is often actually mentioned here at Okakuya, and it is, I still can't believe it, how these animals can maneuver over these rocks so well. And it does look like those springback legs may break if they run too fast, but they're obviously well adjusted and know the paths very well between the rocks and how best to walk through them. But should something like, let's say, a lion appear and they have to run over the rocks, it will be interesting to see if any of them do fall. Robert, hello. You want to know if there are wild dogs at Okakuyo? No, Robert, there aren't wild dogs here. It was actually something that I was reading up about because I was also interested. But basically, the prey species density is not really high enough for them in this particular area. Wild dogs are very particular in the sort of habitats which they need in order to be successful. And in this very dry sort of desert landscape, it's just not well suited for them. Um, they did try and introduce wild dogs to the Etosha National Park. However, these attempts have been unsuccessful. Um, so no wild dogs here as of yet. Who knows for the future? Sure, this water is now perfectly still. Often, when there's some wind blowing, then we get these ripples on the water. But right now, it is just perfectly still.
If you're hooked on Africam's live wildlife cams, then it's high time you joined Africam All Access. As a member, you'll be part of an exclusive pack with plenty of perks like uninterrupted, crystal clear streams, access to our chat feature, chances to flaunt your photo skills, and of course, exclusive content. Just head on over to Africam's YouTube channel and hit that join button to sign up for Africam All Access.
Gareth, hello, you're from South Africa and you want to know what process took place for the area to become so rocky. Now, Gareth, that is a very interesting topic that you bring up, and the geological sort of history and formation of the Etosha National Park, including this area of Okukuyo, is one that is really interesting and basically what it comes down to is that these giant sort of lakes that used to be in the area, those then dried up and left a very high sort of saline content, and that dried into what we know as calcrete, and all that sort of broken up um, uh, previous pans is what sort of the soil that was on top of those pans is now these rocks that we see, this calcrete that has broken up, and that is why the area is so rocky with these very sort of whitish rocks that we see specifically here in Okokuyo. The Tosha Pan itself is not what we can see here at Okokuyo. It is quite close by in a similar area. And apparently it's nearly 5,000 kilometers squared in size in an oval shape. It's the largest in Africa of its type. And it's a salt encrusted vegetationless pan floor. And that is in the area, part of the national park. Whereas here at Okokuyu, we're seeing that concrete being broken up. And that can happen through various formations. In terms of wind, there can be an influence of flooding. As I mentioned, it does rain here, and every now and again, possibly this year, there may even be a large deposit of water in the coming months, which means it may flood. And all of these things, including the effects of wind, can break up these sort of basins, and we get these rocks forming, which is what we're looking at here, all these concrete rocks. Here at WildEarth, we want to make sure that 2024 is the best year that we've ever had in WildEarth's history. And in order to do that, we need your help. So, over the last few days, we've been running a donation drive to raise 15,000 US dollars to help repair, replace, and increase our technical capabilities. Now, thanks to all your amazing generosity, we've reached our initial goal of $15,000, but we would like to keep the donations open and continue to see how much we can raise. And the donations will stay open until the 4th of January. So if you would still like to contribute to help make WildEarth's year the best yet in 2024, we would be immensely grateful if you were to donate in that way. But thank you so much to all of you who have already done so. All right. Well, it has been lovely to check in here at Okukuyo, but how about we head back over to Jamala and see what's happening over there? Well, some of these Ellies are back, which is fantastic. There is a huge elephant bloom there on the left hand side in comparison to these other three. But hopefully, they're going to give us a bit of splashing about here in the heat. Diane, hello again. You want to know what are the mountains that we're looking at there? I believe, Diane, that those are called the Dwarsberg Mountains or Dwarsberg Mountains. It forms I believe it's the boundary running from east to west of Madikwe Game Reserve. Starbuck, hello. It's good to hear from you. You want to know, do elephant herds ever fight? Um, Starbuck, I'm not exactly sure if you mean between themselves or between elephant herds, like one elephant herd fighting with another elephant herd. But no, it's not like you would have the battle of the elephant herds taking place where one herd will come and challenge another one to take their territory or something like that. Elephants don't have territories. Um, so if that's what you're asking, then no, you won't have one elephant herd fighting another. They can, let's say, get a little bit irritated with one another around a water hole or something like that, if especially in a small area, a small pan, where one herd will want the other to move off in order to make space. And usually there's quite actually good respect in that way. One herd will come and drink, and then they'll actually be very aware that another herd, another group is on their way, and then the matriarch will lead the others off so that there doesn't have to be any sort of conflict between them. But no, in general, elephant herds won't fight one another. That's not a behavior that's been observed within the sort of social dynamics of elephants.
Welcome to Destination Safari, the WildEarth travel show that showcases luxurious safari lodges. Overlooking a river plain is the Hlorsi Game Lodge. Today we're going to explore this wonderful retreat, offering rich game viewing and luxurious accommodation for the whole family.
It's so lovely to get a close up of these animals, and we can really see those detail in the cracks of their skin. Beautiful wrinkles, iconic of the elephant. And that's where that temporal gland would be behind this elephant's eye. Oh, it's moving now. Oh my word, look at that baby. That is tiny. Something I always take a note of when it comes to the, oh my word, it's lying down to reach the water. I always take note of when elephant herds come with their babies, is just how well protected it is. Always right there between mom, or between mom and auntie or cousin or whoever it is. Almost the baby gets so well hidden that you can't see it. Although at the moment it seems to be pushed around quite a bit. I wonder what it must be like from a baby elephant's perspective. Gareth, hello again. You've asked quite an interesting question, and you want to know if there are any underground animals whose habits can in any way affect their ground flora and fauna. Yes, Gareth, absolutely. There are plenty of creatures that have an impact from soil level, as it were. Probably for me, the one that is most apparent when visiting areas would be termites. They actually change the soil structure. They aerate the soil. They bring nutrients down into the soil from let me say this: the types of termites that build the termite mounds. Not every termite builds termite mounds, but for the species that do, um, they have a great impact, and it actually affects the plants which grow. You find often particular species that of trees which enjoy growing in termite mounds. and they benefit from the added nutrients which the termites add to the soil, as well as in general in the summertime, particularly, or when sort of the first bit of rains come in the springtime. Um, Termite mounds tend to get greener a lot quicker than the grass sort of surrounding them, meaning that they are preferred to be eaten on by any sort of grazing and browsing animals, mixed breeding animals, sorry. So Gareth, yes, absolutely. There's definitely many creatures, particularly termites, which affect the soil, which affects the plants, which affects the animals. Beautiful elephant bull now walking down on the left, lifting up his trunk. You can just see the size of him in comparison to these other females and younger eddies. He's giving the area a good sniff. That is when elephants lift up their trunks like that. They're sniffing the air. It's always interesting to note the first place that an elephant often will splash themselves is immediately behind the ears, just cooling down that network of blood vessels that can quickly feel and absorb the coolness from the water.
A lot goes on behind the scenes of a safari. Sign up to be an explorer and get exclusive access to Behind the Safari.
Sit back, relax, and take a deep breath.
Learn more about the WildEarth team.
I would not normally keep it on the dashboard, but I'm going to show it to you there.
Come along for the surprises and chaos. Download the WildEarth app today. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
all of a sudden we have the elephant pool party back in action. It's amazing how life at the Waterhole can ebb and flow. Well, I can't believe it, but it's already that time for us to be joined by Africam. So if you are watching on YouTube, please hop on over to our WildEarth app or on DSTV channel 183 or on Freeview in the UK. But for now, we are going to be joined by Africam, and I will talk to you soon.